Hey yo, what's up you guys? So I'm coming to you with another video and we're talking about Whoopi Goldberg. You know, Whoopi, you in danger, girl. We're gonna get into this. She's in deep hot water of her comments on The View, what she said on The View. Now she's suspended and we're gonna talk about it, right? And you know, she talks about like race and Nazis and Holocaust and all this stuff. And so if I'm going to take a page out of anyone, it's going to be Ben Shapiro, right? So we're going to take a look at what he got to say. And pretty much I kind of want to talk about a little bit counterculture because it was this month, a year ago, you know, we were talking about Gina Carano around the same kind of comments, even though I believe it was my opinion that what she put out in her post was not anti-Semitic, right? But we can talk about counterculture. We can talk about how inconsistent all of this is. Gina Carano gets fired. Obviously, I'm not the first person to point this out, but Gina Carano gets fired and canceled. But, you know, Whoopi Goldberg only gets a suspension. Okay, with that said, shall we begin? But first, of course, if you're new to my channel, what is up? My name is Mitch, Maverick Mitch. Hey Mitch, all the Mitches, the real Mitcher, and pretty much I like talking about what I like talking about. So current events, reviews, pop culture, social political commentary, be sure to check out all those videos as you're finishing this video. Alright, so like I said, we're going to go look into Ben Shapiro on his show, kind of like break down as far as how we got here and everything, and kind of do a little update because he did another video as far as saying Whoopi Goldberg should be fired. I disagree, you know, and you know, I'm probably going to title this that Whoopi got canceled and everything just for like the purpose of search engine optimization, right? And so, but I don't think we should cancel her. Like, if anything, I think we should kind of like put this as like stalemate and like bring Gina Carano back, and then you can have Whoopi Goldberg because it's gone too far. I don't think she should be fired, even though I kind of agree with Ben. I would imagine he's gonna say, because he's just saying just be consistent. If you're gonna fire Gina Carano, you better fire Whoopi Goldberg. I would imagine that's what he's gonna say, right? And so, but if anything, I'm more leaning towards, hey, you know what? If you just want to like put Whoopi as a suspension, okay, fine. Then reinstate Gina Carano. Put her back and all that stuff, right? So again, we're going to take a look and talk a little bit more, again, like I said, about counterculture, about all this inconsistency. And so, with that said, so let's roll it.
In any case, Whoopi Goldberg and the ladies of The View, the combined IQ of a kumquat, they decided that they are going to start talking about the Holocaust from their perches as great scholars of the Holocaust. And Whoopi Goldberg, maybe because her last name is Goldberg, decides that she is going to...
So, again, I think I need to put a correction in this video and post-editing, but everything. But I guess, and this is the first time I learned about this, so I guess her real name is Karen Johnson. Whoopi Goldberg is a stage name and everything, so continue.
Inject herself into this conversation. And she has a take on the Holocaust that is, I will say, unique, but not that unique. And here's why it's important. I'll explain in a second why it's important. First, let's hear Whoopi Goldberg explain why everyone in the world is racist except for Hitler, apparently.
The Holocaust isn't about race. No, it's not about race. It's about
a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man. That's what it's about.
But it's about white supremacy. It's about
but it's not about
race.
But these are two white groups of people.
Well, how do we have to black people
see them as white men?
But you're missing the point. You're missing the...
Pause real quick. Joe Behar, credit to her. I can't believe I'm saying that, but she says about white supremacy. The only time, mind you, because we throw around Nazi races and white supremacy all over the time. And this is the actual case of it. So points to that.
You turn it into race, it goes down this alley. Let's talk about it for what it is. It's how people treat each other.
It's about how people treat each other. It's not about race. Okay, so you actually have to start this conversation a little earlier because Whoopi Goldberg actually said right before this that this is white people. This is a direct quote. This is white people doing it to white people. Y'all go fight amongst yourselves. White people doing it to white people. Y'all go fight about this amongst yourselves. Now, naturally, everybody came down on Whoopi Goldberg because this is one of the dumbest things ever. I mean, the simple fact of the matter is that Hitler obviously treated the Jews as a race. He explicitly said they're not a religion, they are a race. The Nuremberg laws were directed against Jews as an ethnicity. And it really is only in the very, very modern era that people have started to lump in Jews with white people. For the vast majority...
Okay, so pause right there. Obviously, 100%, right? And if you want to go into, I think Whoopi, and I think to give credit, partly, like, she was on Stephen Colbert and she just doubled down, right? And so obviously she believes these things. But to her credit, I would imagine what she was trying to, what she should have said, I guess, if I'm trying to, again, give benefit of doubt, is that people was actually, it's because people treat other people inhumanely, right? To think less than human, right? Then, and obviously the Aryan race, they thought they were superior and all that good stuff, right? And obviously that's about race and all that stuff, and white supremacy and all that stuff, right? And but the point is that you were treating other people as inhuman in order to do these, like, to justify these atrocities. Case in point, pro-life. Case in point, the life in the womb. People call it a fetus, a parasite, to justify the killing of the unborn in the womb, right? And so obviously that's where my mind goes into. But like, and you can pair that up to like slavery and all that stuff. You treat them as inhuman, or you treat them subhuman, 3/5 of a person, and so that you justify why this is kosher, not kosher, but not okay. But you get the point, right? And so, to her credit, yes, there's a deeper level in which you're treating people. The overt portion is that these are about races. The deeper portion is that yes, it's humans against humans, and there is a psychological portion into this, and it's humans against humans, and you treat people as inhumanely because you don't see them as human, right? So if she was going with that route, yes, I can agree with that, but her premise is wrong, in which if she's just going with the premise that it's just this is a white person problem, like this isn't about race, when obviously the Holocaust, the Nazis wasn't only after the Jews but also after the Gypsies, the disabled, the homosexuals, right? And so it was about a lot of things, right? Just undesirable people, right? Deplorables, right? When you start labeling these people as like undesirables and not wanted people, right? So it just, yes, you can go to that route, but her premise is wrong, in which she negates the fact. She could say, and on a deeper level, versus it was like Jews are white people type of thing. So let's listen a little bit more, because I do want to hear what Ben has to say today that I didn't listen to earlier. So let's continue a little bit more and then go from there.
Majority of history, Jews were considered their own ethnic group. Not only were they considered their own ethnic group, they were barred from places like country clubs in many parts of the United States. It's really only in the last 30, 40 years that white people and Jews have been considered concomitant.
Also, just so that we're also on the same page, Jews, and I think Zoroastrian is the same way, in which it is ethno-religious, right? You have this thing where it's not just a religion, but it's also an ethnic group. So the Jews in Europe were Ashkenazi Jew, and the Jews in Spain and Northern Africa were Sephardic Jews, right? So point being, and correct me if I'm wrong with all of that, but like it was during the diaspora of Jews being expelled from Israel, they settled in these different areas. So ethnically, they are different people from the general Europeans, because they were migrants, right? So yeah.
Same way, by the way, that Italians started being considered white, Irish people started being considered white, Germans started being considered white. Like, white as a group has been expanding for quite a while in terms of popular rubric. But there's no question that the Germans saw the Jews as a separate race. So did the French, by the way, right? Which is why the Dreyfus Affair was a thing. So Whoopi Goldberg is ignorant, no question. I mean, what she's saying is full-scale stupid. It's ignorant. I mean, this is a direct quote from Hitler in Mein Kampf, quote, "Is not their very existence founded on one great lie, namely, that they are a religious community, whereas in reality, they are a race." Hitler's big thing was that he liked to call Jews a race of parasites. So Whoopi Goldberg is just wrong on the merits. So in one second, we'll get to her apology and then her doubling down on Stephen Colbert.
All right, so I'm gonna post that link below. Check it out. You can look into it more, and especially Brent goes into kind of like how does Whoopi have this mindset, this woke ideology, and he goes into intersectionality because the whole white thing. Because since Jews are doing better, then they seen as oppressors, and so you know. They're not oppressed type thing, and so you go into the whole intersectionality argument, which I agree with, right? And so I think that was fair. What else?
Whoopi Goldberg, yesterday, she did her full apology. So you'll remember that 2 days ago, Whoopi Goldberg went on The View and she suggested that the Holocaust was not about race. And this tied into a broader ideology of the left, which suggests that Jews are white people, and therefore the Holocaust was actually white people attacking white people, which is a thing she actually said on air. Then she went on Stephen Colbert, where she quasi-apologized and then doubled down and suggested once again that the Holocaust was not about racism because it was white people attacking other white people. She issued a written statement. The written statement came out before the Colbert appearance, but probably was written after she had taped for Colbert already. In any case, she came out on the air yesterday, and then she did her fulsome apology. Here was Whoopi Goldberg apologizing on The View yesterday.
I said something that I feel a responsibility for not leaving unexamined because my words upset so many people, which was never my intention. I said that the Holocaust wasn't about race, and it was instead about man's inhumanity to man, but it is indeed about race because Hitler and the Nazis considered Jews to be an inferior race. Now, words matter, and mine are no exception. I regret my comments, as I said, and I stand corrected. I also stand with the Jewish people, as they know, and y'all know, because I've always done that.
Well, I mean, to be technical, you haven't. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when Whoopi Goldberg was retweeting things about massacred Palestinians by the terrible Jews over in Israel. I normally wouldn't think that Whoopi Goldberg should be removed from air. I mean, they knew what they had when they hired her, and nothing has changed since then. Do they have the right to suspend her? Sure, they have the right to suspend her in the same way they had the right to suspend Roseanne Barr. But here is where the fun comes to play. Okay, so here's the thing. They didn't just suspend Roseanne Barr for making a racist statement about Valerie Jarrett. They fired Roseanne Barr and took the top-rated sitcom off the air. So, here is the deal. If you guys are going to play this game, where if somebody is openly identified as anywhere close to a conservative and they say something that is a bad thing, little trademark symbol, if somebody says a bad thing, then they are completely removed from their job, then you don't get to suspend Whoopi Goldberg, you have to fire her. These are the standards, and you set them, and you don't get to play by two sets of standards. I know there are a lot of people on the right today who are just out and out defending Whoopi Goldberg. You know, she should keep her job. On a principled level, I agree with you. She should keep her job. But the left does not live on that principled level anymore. And so mutually assured destruction must be achieved here. Because the way that the system currently works is that if you are somebody who is even remotely to the right of Karl Marx, and you say something that the left perceives as bad, they will attempt to deplatform you, they will attempt to destroy your advertisers, and they will demand that you be silenced. And until the left learns that this standard applies to everyone or no one, it should apply to everyone. Until the
All right, so again, Ben just definitely went into what I thought did. So if you're gonna play these rules, you got to play it evenly. Obviously, they didn't, right? And so I'm gonna probably just leave it there. I'll link it below so you can see the full clip from Ben Shapiro and everything. So I kind of want to just like cut it there short and just talk about like cancel culture, right? And pretty much like Gina Carano, same situation, similar situation. Sorry. When it comes, okay, so I lean on the side of like if you don't have to fire Whoopi Goldberg if moving forward we can treat this as not insane as y'all make it out to be, right? So let's just be a reminder what Gina Carano did last year, right? And mind you, she didn't even say anything. She just reposted another person's post, right? So over here we got again, not from Gina Carano, she's just reposting someone else's post, like Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where the Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is this any different from hating someone for their political views, right? You know, even though she's not saying the Republicans and all this stuff or whatever, she wasn't making overt distinctions, right? People made it out to be, right? And obviously we know later, like, she's a Trump supporter, but in the post itself, it wasn't supposed to be geared towards any other group. It was just supposed to be like neighbors pitting each other against neighbors. And so, you know, again, she got canceled over this versus saying that, you know, the Holocaust was just about white against white people, you know? And so, again, stupid, right? And it's like the point going to Ben Shapiro again, it's all about inconsistency. Again, not the first person that's gonna point this out, but you know, let's just talk about that, right? And let's talk about like cancel culture. Well, real quick, I think cancel culture has been kind of dying down a little bit. I think a little people got kind of fed up with it, in a sense of like, okay, this is getting too much type of thing, right? And so, because I was actually writing down how many things were being canceled throughout the months, and then it started to slow down to the point where I forgot about the list, right? And so, going back onto this, I think people, like, along with the whole woke stuff, people are pretty much rejecting. But, so, just, sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought, but pretty much, I think cancel culture, like I said, is like, kind of like slowing down, if not pausing, if not stopping. But, like, I think people is easing off to the point where it's not really an issue in a large part, even though, like, again, I'm hearing people still saying like cancel like J.K. Rowling and all this stuff, but you know, I think people are uncancel Joe Rogan. I think that's the largest one coming from the left, cancel Joe Rogan, right? But I think people are waking up to the point where they are trying to evaluate what's going on, right? They're trying to educate themselves what's going on and everything, and I think it's harder to cancel people now that people are actually diving to like, why should we cancel Joe Rogan type thing? And so we can move forward without canceling everyone, right? Because then there's no one, you know. But to Ben's point, that's mutual destruction, and we can move on from there. But I think we can move on already, right? Alright, so that was my quick take on this whole situation. I just like this because, like I said, it was a year ago this month that the whole Gina Carano thing came up. I just kind of want to bring that back. And again, talk about the inconsistencies when it comes to all of the cancel culture and everything that's going on with the left and how they're inconsistent as far as what's going on, right? And so, again, comment below, tell me what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe as I'm building my channel. It does help the algorithm when you do comment, when you do like, so help me out, and see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. You can follow me at my Instagram at Hey Mitch, and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace, peace, peace. Be with you.